Namaskar and welcome to Sansad Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our special show Perspective, where we bring you all detailed analysis of key national and international issues. Now, in fact, today we're going to talk about the issue of accountability of social media platforms, specifically large digital tech companies. Now, facing its worst crisis, Facebook has now changed its parent company name to Meta in an effort to move past being a scandal-plagued social network to its virtual reality vision for the future. The social media giant has been battling one of its serious crises ever since one of its former employees leaked huge data of internal studies showing Facebook executives knew of their site's potential for the harm. The whistleblower, who is a former Facebook product manager for civic misinformation, has told the US lawmakers that Facebook consistently puts its own profits over users' health and safety, which is largely a part of its algorithm design that steers users towards high engagement posts that in some cases can be more harmful. Earlier this month, Facebook's WhatsApp messaging service was fined almost $270 million by Irish authorities for not being transparent about how it uses data collected from people on the service. Now, several countries have come up with laws in the past few months to regulate powerful social media companies. India's new Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Ethics Code Rules 2021 became effective on 26th of May this year. Under these rules, social media platforms with over 50 lakh users must appoint a grievance officer, nodal officer, and chief compliance officer, and all these personnel should reside in India as well. We're going to take a detailed look at what's actually happening with these big social media companies. How is it that they need to be made accountable, and on what accounts, on what aspects specifically? And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce them to you. Beginning with, we have in the studio a cybersecurity expert, Mr. Subimal Bhattacharjee. We're also joined by another expert, Mr. Amit Dubey, and Abhishek Singh, the CEO of MyGov platform with the Government of India, is also joining us. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Sansad TV. Let me begin with you, Subimal, and let's start by understanding the scope of the problem or the challenge which we're looking at right now.
See, for quite some time now, people are getting hooked to all the different social media platforms. And while everyone thought, these platforms were neutral by themselves, just being an intermediary, but if you see the wheels behind the wheels, you are finding places where they themselves have complicity. In many cases, they try themselves to be even editors. So over a period of time, not only in India, in many other countries, the perception that Facebook or the other social media platforms were not fair started, becoming a reality. And that's where, despite the huge number of people and all, there's somewhat a kind of a, distrust, mistrust, everything started, and governments were forced to swing into action. Even if you see in our country, that's what we did. A country which has 51 crore WhatsApp users, 42 crores Facebook users, some 29 crores Instagram users. So these are all huge numbers.
People and they have a huge footprint, and it's growing, increasing every day.
So with all of that in place, and the regular issues that come up, which certain times conflagrate into issues that become even law and order problems, children being abused, all the kinds of social issues that we have, they get amplified because the networks allow them to go across in real-time basis. So this has actually led to a problem where now today you see Facebook even going for a name change, because over all the last couple of years, the extent to which their irresponsibility is being witnessed, not only in our country but even from where they originate, even in the US. I think that's something that's worrying, and I think that accountability is something that with a regulatory approach, with a legal approach, we have to look at it. And I think the government here has been absolutely right when they brought out those guidelines.
Indeed. When we look at those guidelines in detail as well, and also what other nations are doing in terms of making these social media giants accountable. Let me bring in Mr. Dubey here as well. Mr. Dubey, from your perspective, how big is the challenge here when we're talking about making these social media giants accountable, and what accounts? Which aspects specifically are we talking about?
Vishal, first of all, the guidelines that we have proposed, we have already seen the results of it. Now they are forced to submit a monthly report, a monthly report on the takedowns, monthly report on the actions those are taken on these complaints submitted to the grievance officer. And if you see those reports of WhatsApp and Facebook, you would be amazed. Like there are thousands of takedowns and thousands of such blocking of numbers. Those are misusing the WhatsApp or other platforms per se because of any criminal activities or any such defamation act. So I think this is a very good sign of these guidelines those were proposed by Ministry of IP and IT. But then beyond that, when Facebook is doing it into a transition mode, they are just changing its brand and also the way of working. When we talk about metaverse, they are actually creating a parallel universe where there'll be much more e-commerce opportunities. I'll be upfront, very, very honest to you, because they'll create a world where they'll give you a different experience. Right now, you see everything in a rectangle view, but then if you have an Oculus kind of virtual reality environment where you can be, you will be submerged to that world, and you can experience all those things through haptic sensors and also interacting with those people that are in that world.
No, that's perfectly fine. That might be a wonderful digital experience, Mr. Dubey, but the question here is that that doesn't absolve them of their accountability.
Of course, and then there'll be a different sort of accountability for e-commerce perspective, because they'll be offering those places in virtual world to sell or purchase. So there'll be a parallel economy which will be created.
Okay.
Because you can purchase shops, you can purchase assets in virtual world, which is not in the jurisdiction of Indian government. Now, if they are actually asking people to get engaged in those sort of virtual assets, and then there'll be a parallel economy, I think there'll be a new kind of guidelines required to use that sort of platform. So it is just not name change. It is not just the brand change. It is also the complete ecosystem which is developed by Facebook is getting changed.
Okay.
So I think now we should be ready to propose the new guidelines, which will be sufficient, which should be sufficient for the metaverse kind of environment.
Okay. So what you're saying is that caught on the wrong foot, now these giants are trying to change the goalpost there. That brings me to Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, you know, from your perspective, in terms of what have we learned so far? There are new guidelines, new rules in place. It has been almost, say, 6 months. What have we learned from that? One aspect. And second is, as Mr. Dubey is pointing out, it looks like, you know, they're trying to change the rules of the game again.
See, I don't think we should look at it in this context of changing the rules of the game. See, the responsibility of India to its citizens remains very clear. Our goal is to set up an internet which is open, which is secure, which is trusted, which allows for innovation, and which ensures that any platform which is offering any kind of service must abide by the laws of India. And it should not lead to hatred, it should not lead to crimes, it should not lead to pornography. So these are the basic rules which were framed, and these rules are more of enabling rules rather than restrictive rules.
Okay.
So having said that, any platform that Facebook builds, and internet is evolving. So like the way we knew internet 10 years back, and then the way social media channels operate now, and the way things will happen when this metaverse kind of thing comes in, which will allow you to get a more immersive experience of internet. And in a simple terms, one can think of going from a 2D dimensional interface to a 3-dimensional interface, when you'll actually be experiencing a different kind of thing. And when you do that, the amount of time people will spend on those platforms will go up, and that will ultimately drive their advertising revenues, and that's how these social media platforms benefit. But when they're doing so, in no ways they should compromise on the personal data of citizens. In no ways they should try to kind of take away something without explicitly taking the consent of the citizen. And in no way they should promote anything which is contrary to any laws of India. So that's what it is right now. So I think what we need to be aware is that as technology evolves, laws also need to evolve. So we need to ensure that our processes, our procedures, our regulations, our legal systems, our regulatory framework is in tune, in sync with the evolving technology, and we are able to safeguard the interests of India and the interest of our consumers at all point of time.
Okay. So robust regulatory mechanism and evolving rules vis-a-vis, this regulatory mechanism when we're talking about technology, because all of us know that it changes almost every day. Then the new things which come up. But Mr. Bhattacharjee, if you look at the international scenario and our scenario as well. Now, there are several countries which have come up with laws in the past 5 to 6 months vis-a-vis dealing with these social media giants, specifically from the data privacy point of view. How do you analyze, what has been done by countries like Canada, like Australia, European Union even, and Irish authorities have recently slapped a very huge fine on WhatsApp?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every country is concerned now that some of these platforms are becoming avenues in which more and more people are being targeted. Their privacy violations are happening, security holes are being seen. So with all of that in place, you have seen a lot of action, particularly the European Union. They are very, very stringent in terms of protecting the privacy and keeping the level playing field as far as these platforms are concerned. You see the US, where definitely, the lawmakers are also thinking about ways and means to see if a large platform like, now not Facebook, but maybe Meta, should actually be seen or to be broken up into all the acquisitions that they have done and come together to get that clout. So I think, everywhere that fear is there. The cooperation, unfortunately, among nations in this area still isn't something that is really very appreciable. Bits and spurts of meetings happen, but a collective action towards bringing a certain harmonization around regulation that has to be worked upon. However, what we did in this country, from the rules that were notified in February, implemented from May 26th, I think we have set a few goalposts for others also to look at. You cannot leave the platforms to themselves to be, trying to determine the pace at which, they'll support law enforcement or even court request. You cannot wait upon them, to be taking a toll on how we look at, protecting our children and all. I think the Honorable Vice President had really taken a very good initiative 2 years back about how children should be protected. Now, even in spite of all of that, you see a lot of activities that are still happening. It's good that the government of India has stood its ground, forced Twitter and Facebook and the various platforms and all to fall in line. Most of them have complied, and now you are seeing those reports that are showing the actual issues at hand, the crux of the problem, the enormities of the cases that happen, and also these are indicators for the government and these platforms and everyone to find out a solution so that we keep this medium open, as we all want the internet to be.
Indeed, and as Mr. Singh also pointed out, these rules and these guidelines are an enabling mechanism vis-a-vis the free and fair space on the internet, which India has been proponent to. But Mr. Dubey, you earlier mentioned about how the changing technology will bring in more challenges. Now the question is, and it's something which we want to understand, is that all of us know that these social media giants, these tech platforms, they function on the basis of certain algorithms. And those algorithms then throw some content choices to the viewers depending upon their preferences or what they click or what they would have, seen in the past few weeks or so, or have been somewhere if the location history is also enabled out there. Now, how do we tackle that challenge? Because vis-a-vis the situation in US and Facebook, the whistleblower has raised these issues that the algorithms of that social media company didn't seem to take note of what might be harmful to the users.
Absolutely, Vishalji. First of all, the point which I was actually mentioning there, that whatever guidelines we make, we always make it as a reactive thing for any such kind of happening those are experienced around. For example, the guidelines those were proposed earlier, these are not completely fulfilled yet. None of these intermediary companies have actually fully compliant with all those expectations. For example, there was a clear-cut expectation that you should provide the source of the information. But then WhatsApp has asked some time, like they need to do some changes, then only they can actually be able to provide that sort of details, or some other intermediary platform as well. There are many such expectations, so they are still working on it. The point is, when things are already in public and crimes are happening or misuse is happening, at that time, if we give some guideline, it becomes much more difficult for a platform to change it and restructure it. Now, the thing that you have mentioned, that the AI algorithm, which is actually knowing more about you than yourself, because they collect data and then they build a power to predict something about you.
Okay.
Now, that is something which can't be quantified. That is something which we can't put in guidelines right now. We can always restrict people to selectively use the data because we know the inputs. Okay, this is the data which is classified data. This is personally identifiable information. This is sensitive data. So we can just put some guidelines on the inputs. We can't put any guideline on outputs, because what they will do with this data, what they can predict about you in future, which could be scary, which could be dangerous, which we cannot imagine right now because we have not seen the results of the technology.
Okay.
So I think the thing which we have just experienced a little bit, that they know our purchasing habit, they know about our psychology, our intentions, our liking, disliking, that is okay. But beyond that as well, if they can predict like what I'm going to purchase after 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I think that is also going to happen. And I'm not sure, but then there should be some guidelines to restrict that sort of power also, which will be built eventually through these AI engines.
Okay. And the basis of all this is data. Ultimately, these algorithms work on the data which is provided to, these algorithms out there. Mr. Singh, that brings us to the larger issue of the data privacy laws. Where are we in India on that, and what more needs to be done?
See, exactly what Mr. Dubey said makes a lot of sense, because ultimately we do need a robust data governance framework, and India has been working towards that. Our personal data protection bill is already almost finalized. It's under review by the Parliamentary Standing Committee, and we are hoping that the Parliamentary Committee will finalize its report very soon, and maybe in the next session of the Parliament it will be presented and it will become a law, because that would be the cornerstone for not only ensuring data protection, but also in creating an environment for building database businesses, building enterprises, building solutions which can not only ensure ethical use of data, but build solutions which will help make companies offer value not only in India, but create value globally. Then the non-personal data sharing framework also, which was finalized in the Krish Gopalakrishnan Committee report, that's also kind of creates a framework for building data businesses, ensuring exchange of data, ensuring availability of data in the open format, ensuring that new companies, new entrepreneurs also get access to anonymized non-personal data, which can be used for offering better services.
Okay.
And the entire AI framework is based on that. Once you have quality data available in a free, open, accessible format, then you can build machine learning algorithms, you can build AI-based solutions which will help us in better healthcare, in agricultural solutions, in language translations. So all that will be enabled with that. So yes, we are working at a very advanced stage of finalizing our data governance framework and our data protection laws, which will ensure that we are able to not only regulate, but also promote building robust, secure, legal businesses.
Okay. Now that we're talking about data protection laws and, the entire mechanism out there, Mr. Singh, can we expect something on the similar lines as these other nations have come up with recently, specifically the European Union, if you're looking at, because there are very harsh penalties inbuilt there?
Yeah, the GDPR is like the benchmark, is like the standard till any other law comes in. But as we have shown with the intermediary guidelines which India brought out, it was one of the best ways to do that. And globally, various countries are looking at the way India is regulating its social media in order to ensure that there is ethical use of social media. There is ways in which it promotes value creation and does not promote hatred or does not promote crimes. So in that way, similarly, when India's personal data protection bill will come out, I am sure it will become the gold standard, which will be comparable with the best in the world, whether it's GDPR or any other data protection bill.
Okay, Mr. Dubey, your suggestions there on the forthcoming data protection law, because ultimately that's going to be the cornerstone, as Mr. Singh is pointing out as well, in making these social media giants accountable and other digital companies which might be formed in the future as well. Overall, internet situation, if you look at, so what do you as an expert suggest and expect in terms of what needs to be done there?
See, I would like to add few points here because we have already discussed a lot on personal data privacy bill and the inputs that we have submitted there. But then, because technology is changing every day, and now we have faced this metaverse kind of thing, now they'll be able to capture more and more data about us. Because when we are submerged, there'll be more sensors associated with us. They'll know more about our body language and many other personalized details also, which earlier was not possible. So I think now this is an opportunity to add few of more such data points and to put some guidelines of their use and classify them accordingly. What should we consider them? Are these data points are very, very sensitive or not sensitive? Or if yes, then what should be the regulations for them when we are asking anybody to use it? Okay. So I think there'll be some additional data point. Those will be captured now with the haptic sensors when this multiverse environment will be created, metaverse environment will be created. And that can also be considered along with whatever we are proposing right now, though we are already ready with most of the drafts, I think. But then, technology is changing and we should not be reactive. We can be a little proactive also this time.
Okay. Mr. Subimal, your views there on the overall regulatory framework vis-a-vis data protection, which we're talking about here. Because, putting in place guidelines and rules is fine, but then we will have to have a larger framework also. And as both Mr. Singh and Mr. Dubey are referring to, there are various aspects which will have to be taken into consideration, not only picking up good points from the international laws, but also taking into note the changing technology, paradigm there.
So I think, the draft data protection bill that was circulated, that had most of the aspects covered very well, and I'm sure in all these months of waiting for the bill actually to come back to Parliament, that would have been further looked at. I would think that that there has been inordinate delay that should have been brought by now. So it's important to have a law in place in the first place, and that bill particularly had provisions about data protection authority, then how you would deal with different kinds of cases, how you would deal with technology, how you would also deal with some aspects of the social media related stuff. So I think it's very important that this session we have the bill in place, a basic bill and a basic encompassing law will set a lot of things in order, and then we can keep on amending it.
Okay.
So I would think the government is conscious of the fact. My only suggestion would be, please bring it early and let it be in place.
Okay, sooner the better. But one last question before we bring this to an end to both of you, Mr. Dubey and Mr. Singh. I'll come first to you. In terms of, we were talking about putting in place a regulatory mechanism, a robust environment, data protection bill there, and obviously, making these social media giants accountable to those rules. But let's also talk about one more stakeholder here, and that's the user. So from your perspective, what is it that the user should keep in mind?
See, ultimately the users have to be aware of what risks they are there on various platforms. And this applies not only for the social media platforms, but anything that you do on the internet. So the moment you are transacting on the internet, you are leaving footprints. And if you are not following safe practices, if you are not following the various privacy settings which are there, you can become vulnerable for any abuse. You can lose your personal data, you can lose your photographs, you can lose your financial data. All those risks are there.
Okay.
So awareness is very, very, very important.
Okay.
Number two, you should also be aware of where to go in case there is a breach. In case there is a breach of any kind, the IT intermediary guidelines prescribe for a grievance officer for all the platforms, the nodal officers and compliance officers. So you should know where to go to. The certain website also gives a lot of useful links with regard to how to file a complaint with regard to any cyber fraud or any bullying or any kind of cyber crime that you are subjected to.
Okay.
So one needs to be very, very aware. One needs to know that being on the social media, ultimately these platforms, when they're offering you something for free and the valuations are so steep, one of the most richest people are the people in the richest people in the world are people who are running these platforms. So somewhere they are making their money.
Okay.
So they are doing advertising, they are using your data. So you are compromising on some part of it. You have to be very conscious and aware, and then only think whether it's justified in using these channels the way you do, or restrict the use that you want.
Okay. Quick concluding comment from you, Mr. Dubey, on the user part, the awareness there, as Mr. Singh pointed out, we will have to be very aware and conscious of what we are signing up for.
I think Abhishek sir has already pointed this very well. Unless until user know about the risk when they are actually using any such technology, they will never be able to do the justice with the data privacy. So I think that is required, that awareness is required, especially when you will start using the metaverse kind of environment or any other such new technology which will be launched in near future, and it's changing every day. I think the awareness should also go in parallel. Moreover, when this Oculus was acquired by Facebook and they were offering a service where you can create an avatar and can interact with people, there were crime cases when people were stealing avatars, they were cloning the avatars, and they were actually used in those groups and conferences. So I think that may again further become a risk in the metaverse kind of situation when you will expose too much to about yourselves. I think that should be known to the user. If user is not aware, and then they are using this technology, there is a risk.
Okay. So there it is. Thank you so much, Mr. Amit Dubey, Mr. Abhishek Singh, and Mr. Subimal as well for sharing your views and insights. As our experts were pointing out, there are various aspects of this issue when we're talking about making these social media giants accountable, and obviously putting in place a robust regulatory mechanism is a very, important cornerstone of this process. But so are the other stakeholders, that is the users themselves and the awareness of these users. We'll come back again with a different topic. Till then, keep watching Sansad Television. Thank you.